This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You have a rich person's name. Like, you should be a billionaire with the name Winfield.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
Checking the microphones, going good.
It is the 18th of January, and the year is 2022. My name is Corey Winfield.
My name is Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. Back.
He's back.
I was off for like a week.
Yeah.
If you picked up on that. No podcasts were published. It's like when I go away, everything goes away. And that's sad. Because it shouldn't be that way. Well, I'm not looking at you.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. No, I wasn't. I was looking away from you.
The eyes, they were just like boring holes into my brain.
Oh. Well, I mean, I thought maybe it'd be a good idea if you just learn the board a little bit.
I know, but it's just not the same.
Oh, it's probably better.
Maybe.
I know.
Sometimes.
Our friend Laura was wanting to do a podcast, and I was like, yeah, go over there, hang out with Marnie, do a podcast. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's not going to work out very well. And Marnie will be mad at me. Like, why would you tell someone to do that? You're embarrassing me.
Well, it took you like 10 minutes to figure out how to get the board to work again, so
Yeah.
I can't imagine how I would have done.
I don't know what was going on or what is going on with it, but hopefully it sounds all right. I don't know. It's a little weird, if you ask me.
So how are you feeling?
Yeah, let's get into that real quick just to kind of clear the air. And no, I didn't relapse, nothing like that. Back at the hospital. A week-long stay just about for my pancreatitis again. Mm-hmm. It's getting old. And even the doctors are like, what's going on? And they pretty much said, oops, sorry about taking out that gallbladder. Apparently it wasn't the gallstones that's causing this.
That's not completely true at all.
That's pretty much what they said.
No, they think there's still a gallstone somewhere in your duct.
No, they're saying that just because it sounds good and because they don't know what else it could be besides a gallstone. But I don't have a gallbladder anymore because they took it out.
Right, I know, but there's still the duct still there. It's attached to the pancreas.
Okay, but they took it out. The doctor that took it out said there's no gallstones. And then when I went back like a week later because pancreatitis was back, they did an MRI, no gallstones. This time they did an MRI, no gallstone. Like, what are they looking? Well, sometimes it's sludge and so. Really, they're just making stuff up. But then the one doctor did say that. She was like, well, now that we know it's not gallstones, probably didn't. Not saying that we didn't need to take it out, but it's pretty much what she said. Not like you can sue them or anything.
Right.
But thanks for surgery I didn't need. Appreciate it. Thanks. But now we're trying to figure it out. I guess we're going to go to Grand Rapids Monday and try to stick some down my throat. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think I would do good with stuff down my throat personally. But I guess that's why they kind of knock you out. You do. You ever had stuff like down your throat?
No.
Oh. I mean, like surgery stuff.
No.
Okay. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Yeah. They knocked me out and they're going to stick like a little camera down there and it's not going to hurt apparently. But the way they were going to do it here in Traverse City, which you were all about, you're like, do it, honey. They were going to go find this mystery gallstone with this procedure that would actually cause more inflammation in my pancreas, which would pretty much cause me to start having a pancreatitis all over again. So that would mean another 3-4 days at least in the hospital to look for the stone that's not even there. I was like, I'm going to pass on that one. And I'll go to Grand Rapids and have the other one done with a little bitty camera.
I just wanted to make sure that they can fix whatever the problem is while they're down there. And that was what I was told. So
yeah. So I'm back. I didn't relapse. Everything's cool. So there you go. I know you're tired of hearing me talk about my pancreas and let me.
If you guys are tired about it, imagine being me.
Well, yeah, because this baby making time.
Right.
And this is real. You know, Marnie was looking at me like she wanted to, like, if you had lasers in your eyes, I'd be missing arms right now.
Probably.
You would just, like, oh no. No, but it hit at a time where it wasn't really good in the baby making process, and nothing I could do about it.
Right.
I knew the pain was coming and I had to go. And they said that my levels were higher this time than they were last time, meaning there was more pain this time than the last time.
We just need to get it figured out. So that's the important thing.
Yeah, the baby making stuff. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, here I am. Should we go into the whole story about it? And the emergency room, they finally got us a room. And you're walking in and you're like, hey, no, don't talk about this one.
You can talk about it.
No, and my lovely wife's like, hey, here's this. You should fill that up. I was like, I'm here.
This is
hurting.
way TMI for these people.
All right. We'll
But no,
skip that,
it's fine. It's whatever.
It's the truth. And I tried, which is the silliest thing I probably could have ever done. This is so much pain. But I wanted to make you happy. I want to give you a baby. If that's the way we had to do it when I'm in the hospital, hey, I thought I would at least try it. But it turns out I'm not good at that stuff. So anyway, back to recovery.
Right.
Talk a little bit about recovery and my recovery from the pancreas. We'll keep you updated on that because I know you care. Maybe. But the friend, and I wanted to pull this, maybe I will in the next week or two. I don't know. I wanted to pull the audio from when I was actually talking about it. And I saw that he was on Facebook. I hit him up. And I told him that I was glad he didn't die. He thought I was joking. He's like, you're so funny. I'm not joking, dude. I'm seriously. Because when he left the place I used to work at, he had the Gollum from Lord of the Rings. My precious. He had that look in his eye. And I see people get all the time when they're about to go relapse. And it's the craziest thing. And my mom used to tell me that, oh, I can see it. And that's probably exactly how I was.
Yeah.
And it used to piss me off because I'm like, how can she see it? She can't see it. I would assume it's the same thing. But he had that look of, oh, yeah. And he got out of treatment again, this other place, I guess. And I guess I hit him up, said, glad you're still alive. And he thought I was joking. Nah, bro, for real. He's like, yeah, I'm doing the sober living thing for a minute. You know, I just got a good job. It's like, once I get back on my feet, it's like, you know, make some money. Get back in the swing thing. I'm like, wait a minute. He said something similar to like doing his same shit over again. You know, once he gets back to the real him, you know, once he gets some money, he'll be fine. And right then I knew, oh, he's not done. He's got more pain to go through, apparently. He wants to do that. And I had to do that too. I don't know why. I took this guy to treatment the other day. Oh, I know why I did that. But I was telling him because the dude called. And he's like, I'm hurting. I was like, that guy. Let me tell you a story about him. And I was the same way, though. And you don't have to put yourself through this much pain. People do get it right on the first time in treatment. It can be done. It's just if you're willing to accept that you can never use drugs again. And you got to figure out a lot about yourself. This was this guy's first time going to treatment. I was like, you got to figure out who you are. And he said that that's what he was having a hard time with. You know, was trying to figure out who he is and what he likes. And I'm like, yep, I remember that, man. And look at it in a positive light, though. You know, don't look at it like, I don't know who I am. Look at it like, I don't know who I am. Do I like to paint? I don't know. Go buy some.
Yeah.
You know, it's exciting. You're finding out who you are. You're living life again for the first time in many, many, many years. So don't droop your head. Raise it up high. You're finding yourself. You're doing something spectacular. You're changing your life for the better.
Right. And people that think that living in recovery is boring, it's like, just wait and see what you're capable of doing. You know, we haven't even, like you said, we haven't even tapped in to some of the some of the skills that we have, or the things that can be fun that we're good at. And so, once you're sober, you have the opportunity to do that kind of stuff.
For sure. Well, dude hit me up when I was in the hospital, and he was like, yeah, I messed up, man. Well, you didn't mess up.
I'm not laughing at him, that. Just,
it's
it's like, go figure.
Just chose to drink. Well, I was like, so what happened? Well, I was going to move in with Jessica. I'm like, pump the brakes there. Who's Jessica? And I think I talked about this in the podcast too. When he reached out to me and said, why are all women in recovery crazy? And I'm not going to tell somebody when they can date somebody. You'll figure it out when you're ready. When you're not, it's going to blow up in your face. I had to go through that too. I like the really hard road. I like the painful road. And I told him, you attract what you put out there, man.
So true.
And he laughed and thought I was joking. I'm not joking, dude. You are attracting what you're putting out there. So anyway, he tells me this Jessica is the girl he fell in love with.
That's so sweet.
Wow, I haven't talked to you in 2 weeks and you're falling in love. And you're going to live with her? Yeah. So I drank. I'm like, well, then they were going to kick you out of sober living. Yeah, I knew that. Well, then what happened with old girl? Well, she said I couldn't stay there. So I was drinking. Okay. And part of me was wondering if he went to her with the whole, I got kicked out. Mm-hmm. And maybe had some lie, or maybe he just said, F it, I can drink. I got money. I got a job again. I'm back to the old me, which nobody wants. And she said, I don't know what you thought about this. Like, you can't live here, especially if you're drinking. Get out. I don't know. And he kind of thought, oh, that was my failsafe. Like, I'll drink, I'll get kicked out. Because we think of some stupid shit.
Oh, yeah.
When to justify us drinking. And maybe he thought, okay, I'll drink, I'll get kicked out. She'll feel bad for me. She'll let me stay there. And then I'll just drink on the weekend again. Back like I used to, like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. When I was 22, I could drink on the weekend and everything was fine. I'll go back to doing that. And right. I need an explosion button.
Yes, you do.
Blew up right in his face.
Well, I mean, something like that happens. There's like one of two results are going to happen with that. All right. So like one is that one could be that she starts drinking as well. Right. And then eventually one or both of them will end up being a disaster in the end there. Or the other one is exactly what happened is she's going to just not put up with it. And he's going to end up not being able to put it down again, and she's going to kick him out. So there you go. Don't use that as a reasoning. And it's not healthy. It's not by any means a healthy way to get into any sort of relationship is by trickery. It's not going to work.
He was probably hoping she did use again, or that she started drinking.
That's exactly
or whatever.
what he was hoping. That's exactly what he was hoping. Because
then
it would be It would be longer. Mm-hmm. It'd be longer until it all fell apart.
They'd be doing it together,
and that happens a lot too.
So I told him, "Well, here, get a hold of Lisa from Hope Not Handcuffs. See if she can get you in." Of course, it's when he called that time. It was Monday. It was Martin Luther King Day yesterday. So places were closed. Treatment centers were closed. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't getting in anywhere.
Yep.
And he was at a hotel. And I said, when do you have to be out of there? And he's an hour ago. Hope you find a homeless shelter or something. Is this working out how you planned it? No.
Ugh, that just makes my skin crawl just thinking about that situation.
I'm just glad that I'm not there anymore.
Right.
I don't think I've ever done anything quite. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But I don't think he loved her. I think he was using her because it it was a more comfortable way for him in his head that he could still go drink. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't want to live at the sober living house. They have rules where they tell him he can't drink and he has to go to meetings. He's the same guy that when I asked him if he had a therapist and he said, yeah. I said, when do you see him next? Every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. He was doing IOP. That's not your therapist.
Right.
What do you mean? And I don't know if alcohol does damage the brain. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it went that far with them already. I don't know. I drink a lot. I'd like to think that I'm not like that. Like,
right.
You didn't know what a therapist was?
Maybe he's just trying to pass it off as that should count because I see him a lot. Right?
Yeah. And then I said, well, when are you seeing your dentist? I'm good. When's the last time you saw your dentist? I don't know. I can tell you you're not good. If you just said last year for my annual checkup, I'd have been like, all right, cool. What about your eyes? Oh, no, I can see just fine. Okay, who's your primary care doctor? Isn't that a treatment place? I don't remember if I even asked him, but that's probably the dumb stuff he would have said.
Right.
I mean, it was getting to the point where I'm just shaking my head going, I like to waste time, but I like to waste it how I like to waste it. You know, and he said to me, how do you know, like, all this stuff? I said, because, man, I went down the hard road. You know, I hit every bump. But he's the type of person where it doesn't matter what I tell him, he's not listening. Mm-hmm. That's the part where I come to the whole wasting time thing. If he asks me something and then I tell him, and then 2 days later he calls me or he texts me and I'm like following up on that. Oh, I haven't done that yet. I told him get the 217 recovery app. Maybe then you would actually call me and tell me to stop talking about your ass. No, he didn't. I'm positive he didn't get it. Not that it's going to save his life, but we have over 550 podcasts where if he's feeling some kind of way, he can go listen. And however, what kind of way he's feeling, there's a good chance on one of those episodes, he's going to find a very good connection of, wow, I'm going through that same thing. Whether it was from Matt or from Rob in the early days or Chris or Ryan, you, me. I mean, the good chance he's going to hear something that he's going to connect with and go, yeah, I'm feeling that same way right now. But he wouldn't even take my advice on that. So
yeah,
why am I going to keep giving this guy advice?
And I mean, getting there, like in terms of getting into treatment, I've recognized this. I've seen it in the last couple of weeks several times is those people that reach out to you, like, you know, with those phone calls and the, oh God, please help me. You know, I need help right now. Sometimes there's a very small window that actually exists that if something doesn't happen and there isn't action made in that short period of time, that it might not happen, maybe not ever again.
Right.
I mean, or a long time, longer than it should be for that window to open up again, where the individual hurts enough and is uncomfortable enough and is out of resources enough and sad enough and, you know, depressed enough, whatever the case may be, to the point where they are willing to go, like right at that very moment, like I will go to rehab right now, get me there. I know I did that. There was a couple times I did that, and then that window slammed shut. I mean, it was like sometimes not even 12 hours, and I was just like, I'd get either something else would come along, I get more booze, or I slept enough to where I felt a little bit better. And I'm like, oh, it seems like so much work to get to rehab. And then I got to like deal with my parents and, you know, and then we give ourselves all these excuses in the book. Just get there. You know, if you've recognized and realized enough to the point where you've said the words came out of your mouth that you needed to go to rehab, you need to go to rehab. You know, there is no shame in that. Like, you need to get yourself to treatment. That's not a mistake.
Especially early on.
Yeah.
Like the guy I took the day, first time he's ever gone to treatment, he lives alone. Mm-hmm. You know, he's doing this for himself. I told him, I was like, you have a good chance, man, because if you're in the treatment center and they're asking you about how you're doing, how you feeling, and you're just bullshitting them, you're just bullshitting yourself.
Right.
You know, you're 100% just bullshitting yourself. There's nobody at home waiting for you. There's nobody you got to lie to. Like, he could have just kept drinking himself to death if he wanted.
Right.
And he seemed like a very intelligent guy. I'm glad that we got to give him a ride to treatment. And he said so as much. He's like, man, thank you so much. It was so much nicer to have somebody like you who could explain things to me on my way in. He's like, 'cause I'm not going to lie. I'm afraid. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I told him, don't be afraid. You're going to have fun. I told him about having fun in there. And,
I'm sure he did.
but it does help the people. And I wish more people would understand that, you know, what we do when we take people to treatment or take people home from treatment. You know, having a recovery coach do that is such an advantage, you know, to those people. Now, are all those people going to make it, never drink again, never use again? No. That's not how it works. But I guarantee you, everybody I've taken will remember something from that ride. And whether it clicks in a few years, and not everything that I say is golden either. I'm not saying that, but something they'll pick up on, just like I can look back and remember people telling me stuff. They thought it was going in one ear and out the other, and it kind of was. But at the same time, I was really wanting it. I was just confused to what it was and how do I get it, and with the least effort possible. And so that's why I was always confused. Like, why do I always go back to drinking again? But then I started learning about addiction, how it works and how the brain works. And it started making sense to me. Like, okay, I'm not a really bad person. It's just that is controlling my brain. I have to be ready to fight that. And that's some of what they teach you in treatment. But I would always run back to treatment as like a punishment for myself. Like, oh, I messed up. Oh, I'm going to go back to treatment. And the one time my mom was like, "What for what? For what?" Classes just started. I just started taking classes again in school. And she said, you got to get your ass to those classes. You can't afford to be messing around with this. You know, you will mess around and fail your classes, and they're going to give you any money anymore. And then what are you going to do? No more classes. You're going to pay for it for yourself. Well, you can't keep a job. And she was right. And that time, I did not end up going to treatment. And that was a good decision. You know, but I have been to treatment so many times where it's what I did. You know, I go to treatment. Oh, I messed up. I'll go to treatment. You know, it wasn't like, oh my God, I need treatment because I need to learn more things. It was just more of well, that's what I do now. I go to treatment when I mess up. And that's not necessarily the best thing either. You know, there are other options, IOP, which is intensive outpatient, you know, where you go. And at least when I went, it was 3 hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 1 to 4. And I would go there. And a lot of people can't make those hours. Some people can. They had an earlier class too. But there's other options for you, and everybody doesn't have to go run to treatment. But if you're fighting and you're struggling and you haven't been to treatment yet, and you're like, well, I gotta get to work and my job. And yeah, I mean, history shows that job's not going to be there for much longer. And if you come up to your boss and are just completely honest with them and say, look, I need to go to treatment. I am a mess. I got to get my life figured out.
They probably already know you're a mess.
Yep. And they're going to say, wow, that's amazing.
They're like, phew, because I was just about to fire your ass.
Yeah, they probably will say something like that. And you're going to be like, wow, dodged a bullet there. But they'll wait for you. And if they don't, F them. You don't want to work. You don't want to work there anyway.
Right.
There's plenty more jobs out there. Trust me. But don't get hung up on a job. And it's a lot easier sitting behind this microphone telling you, oh, go tell your boss that. And if he doesn't like it, F him. Real easy for me to say that. But at the end of the day, though, I'm for real, you know, and it's not an easy decision. You're going to have to be scared when you go in to tell them because you don't know how it's going to go. I've been on both ends of it where the employer was amazing about it. And I've been where they were ignorant and they weren't educated about addiction. So good luck. But I'm telling you, you're going to come out on the end sober and feeling a lot better than trying to hold it together with this secret that you're keeping when you're not really keeping it very well. And then you get fired anyway.
Right.
You know, at least you're making the decision for you. And when you look back at it, you'll be like, well, yep, it didn't work out me there because I went to better myself and they didn't want a better me. So I'll take my services elsewhere.
Yeah. And one thing that I like to say too about this is that, you know, we're talking into these microphones and it's as if we're talking to people. I mean, because the people who listen to us are all across the spectrum of points in their recovery. You know, some people might not even be in recovery and they might still be in active addiction. Some people might have, you know, two weeks. Some might have 2 months. Some might have 2 years, and, you know, so on, so on.
Some aren't even addicted to anything. They're listening for their family.
Some are listening for their families. But
Friends.
that being said, is that these are important things for you to retain wherever you are in your recovery. If you do have enough time to, you know, speak clearly and reiterate these thoughts to people that might need to go, you know, that's part of the reason why we share things like this, is for you to be the messenger and, you know, keep that positivity and encouragement and support going for your fellow people that need help, that haven't found it yet and might not have the courage to get there, or somebody who's relapsed that needs to get back. Now you take that responsibility on. I don't want to say responsibility. You take that on though when you start, you know, being able to hold your own recovery well enough that you're comfortable enough to be able to talk to somebody else. It's giving you something back too, helping others.
That's why we do what we do.
That's why we do what we do.
Because it helps us stay sober.
And if you do that too, and then somebody else does that, and the chain keeps going, and it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
So encourage people that are struggling to get back into treatment. They need to. There's no shame in that.
None whatsoever. Before we talk about our friend Laura, I was writing a letter today to my friend Ricky. Mm-hmm. And I normally don't write letters.
No, you don't at all.
But I wrote him one because he's in jail. And it was kind of a hang in there, bud kind of thing. It wasn't a, hey, you know, it's okay that you messed up and this and that. But I just wanted him to not give up on himself, because my friend Ricky, you met him. Mm-hmm. He's put a lot of work in. And I heard that he got to jail and was like, F it. They're probably going to send me to prison anyway, so F it. And I just didn't want him to have that attitude, because he's come too far to just throw it all away like that. You know, we're going to hit bumps in the road. And yeah, he did stuff he wasn't supposed to. You know, he was on probation or whatever. I'm not real sure all of his case or what was going on, but he wasn't supposed to use drugs. Alcohol's a drug.
Yeah.
So boom, back you go. A good thing about 2022, some of the judges, some of the prosecutors even, some of the police even understand that a jail cell isn't going to beat addiction. It might deter people for a little bit, but that alone is not going to make somebody not be an addict anymore. It's not going to give them the tools they need to beat their addiction. I'm going to send you to jail. Jail, for people who, like myself, had a substance use disorder, it can take people like us and make us criminals. And sometimes I feel like that's what the system wants. You know, they want to create criminals. So that way they have jobs and they keep the criminals in there and everything's hunky-dory. Well, I just told him to be who he wants to be, to act, not react. Because I'll be damned if they're going to make me into a criminal. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to think that way. A lot of people do, though, and it's easy to. You get in jail and it's, all right, it's a cool thing to do, man. You know, it's not, I don't know, maybe it is cool now to be like, nah, it's not me, I messed up. Got to get back on my sobriety. I don't know. But I just hope that he doesn't lose sight of that, and I hope he doesn't let other people tell him who he is.
Right.
So hopefully he gets that message from that letter. And
well, and that's a hard place to be to keep that motivation up, you know, because those surroundings are not the most conducive to feeling like you want to get back on track. You know, that whole, no matter what, you are, quote, literally being punished. And so you're under this umbrella of, I'm being punished because fill in the blank. Not because you did something fantastic and you were doing the next right thing, is because you made a mistake. But they don't look at it like that. I don't think people say, he made a mistake. He's in jail because he made a mistake. You know?
no, they don't.
Nobody says that. Like, why are you in here? Why are you in here? I made a mistake.
They don't pull Budweiser commercials from the Super Bowl because a lot of people made mistakes that weekend. They double them. Mm-hmm. You know, we got to reach everybody. And I heard you were doing your group today. I believe is the longest day ever known to man.
It's a long freaking day.
But you were talking about first dates. And
oh, yeah.
People in early recovery, and somebody says, hey, you want to go out for drinks? And how do they respond? Humor was something that I've always used. And I would have been like, not that easy. I don't know what they told you about me. You can't just get me drunk and take advantage of me. Plus, I've had some bad experiences with alcohol. And chances are they're going to say, yeah, me too.
See, the problem with you teaching classes, you would never get through it. Because you would be so busy making jokes about stuff. People would get lost. Like, wait, what? We're what? Learning?
Pay attention. No, but I would, you know, like that's something. And then you brought up, okay, you go to a wedding and then you're at the reception and it's open bar. You know, what do you do? Well, you got to be prepared for that. You probably know it's open bar before you go. So eat your food, bounce. You're not going to have a good time with a bunch of drunk people running around anyway. Nobody likes to be around drunk people. Mm-hmm. You realize that real quick.
Right.
And you realize that you don't like to be around drunk people, especially when, or if you're having some kind of feelings about drinking. Man, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
You know, you need to bounce. You need to get out there.
The point of that exercise was don't put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You know, like either opt out completely or, you know, if it is, try it. And if it is uncomfortable, then leave. You know, don't like, and I'm thinking to myself, David's commented, I'm like, and if you were invited to a wedding, go to the wedding. And then just don't go to the reception.
Just get there, get your food on, drop off your gift, bounce.
Get out. Yeah.
Just trust me, you're not gonna be want to hang out while they're doing the chicken dance or whatever the hell.
Right.
You're not missing out on anything.
Right.
Nothing. Mm-hmm. Oh, but you missed Michelle falling over and puking on herself. Oh, I wouldn't say I missed that. You know, you're not gonna miss anything.
Right.
So but yeah, when you were talking about that, I wanted to chime in with that. Like, you can make a joke out of it and, you know, say that you don't have to come right out and say, oh, and you can if you want to. No, I don't drink. If they ask why. tons of reasons.
We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have enough time for this conversation.
But you just say something like, yeah, I've had bad experiences with alcohol or whatever. And good chance they're going to follow you right back with, oh yeah, I've had some bad experiences too. Mm-hmm. And I might like you. So let's just get some burgers or something. Mm-hmm. Milkshakes. How's that sound? It will be not awkward at all.
Right.
Unless the person's an alcoholic, which I don't like that term. Unless the person themselves, they have a substance use disorder or whatever. Maybe like, oh, just smoke some weed then. Nah, I don't like messing with that either.
And here's the thing too: if that person doesn't want to hang out with you because you don't want to go to a bar or don't want to go get a drink with them and isn't up for doing something different, you don't want to be with that person anyway. You're gonna figure that out real quick.
Them's what we call red flags.
Like that is just the easiest. Just nope, this is not gonna go anywhere.
But Marnie, he's so cute.
No, absolutely not.
Save
yourself the pain and agony.
Or he's got a big old wallet.
No, there's nothing. Yeah,
if he's or she's can't break away from the weed or the drinking for a night to get to know you, then yeah, that's a red flag. Don't even waste your money. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. And warning, there'll be people that say they aren't, if they know that you are a person in recovery and that you don't do that, they say, oh, but I won't do it around you. And I've heard so many people will try to describe somebody that they're trying to date, and they'll be like, yeah, he drinks beer every once in a while, but like not around me. And like so many times that crap is just blown up in their face. They never stick to what they say, and they never are what they say. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too.
I was drinking in the garage. It's not around you.
He only smokes weed like before, like with his buddies. So he comes home high. That's it. Okay, so that's okay. They're okay with that. I'd be like, hell no. But
yeah, it took me a minute to realize that was the drunk Corey that people didn't like. It didn't matter how I got there. If it was liquor, if it was beer, people just didn't like me. I didn't like myself. So then I just secluded. All right, fine.
I don't like you either.
Yeah, I won't be around anybody. Hear my cat. And my cat didn't like me. She didn't like me drunk. Hated it. She's listening to the podcast. She listens to everyone. She's on the floor right next to us here in the studio. Hi, Nico. Yeah, she would talk, but she's a little shy.
She's tired today. She's up all night running around talking to her animals.
Mm-hmm. She's got a good life now.
Yeah.
She loves it.
She literally kitty talks to her little like mice with feathers and that are scattered all throughout the house. She has these big meowing conversations with these little animals.
It's cute. Animals are great.
Yeah.
But I put her through hell. I'm not proud of it. But again, I can't do anything about the past.
Right.
I can just give her a little good little kitty life now, and I think she's forgiven me.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So Laura, our friend Laura Conrad, her mom donated to 217 Recovery. And thanks, Nancy.
Thanks, Nancy.
Appreciate it. And so do the people at Addiction Treatment Services. Part of your donation. Got them some new sheets. We were able to buy them a while ago, drop them off. Mm-hmm. So everybody in the place, every bed in the place has a new set of sheets and pillowcases. They got pillowcases up the yang. Because when we bought them all new pillows, we bought them all new pillowcases. Well, all the bed sheets came with pillowcases. Mm-hmm. So they got enough pillowcases.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't have enough pillowcases.
No. But you want to match in.
Right.
Best you can.
Right.
So that was very cool. But yeah, Laura, she texted me the other day. I was in the hospital. I don't think I told her I was in the hospital. And she said, hey, I want to come on and do a podcast. I said, okay. she wanted to do on Saturday, and I said no. And she said, well, I didn't want to do it tonight anyway. All right. Tuesday, she's like, yeah, I got this thing that I'm going to. I guess it was like a meeting of recovery coaches or something in Traverse City, which she tried getting me to go, and I was like, you too. And I was like, So that I didn't want to go. It's just, I just got out of the hospital. All right. I was still in the hospital thinking, okay, I'll be getting out hopefully soon and probably won't be feeling like doing a whole hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. But she texted me today and she said that her roommate wasn't feeling well. So therefore she couldn't come on to the podcast.
Maybe she got the COVIDs. She was just trying to look out for us.
That's what she wants us to think, but I could read deeper into it. I read real deep into it.
What was that?
Codependency, man.
Huh.
It's a mother effer. And if you are living your life to make somebody else happy, that's codependency. If you're like, well, I got to get home and I got to do this and get dinner, because if he gets home and dinner is not ready and made, then and he's not happy, then it's that's codependent. If you're basing your feelings how someone else is feeling, so you're doing everything you can to make that person happy when you're missing out on life. What's making you happy? Well, he's going to yell at me otherwise, and he won't be happy, and then he'll be mad, and I can't have that. And hold on, he controls his own feelings, or she controls her own feelings. In this case, Laura. So I told her a little bit about codependency. And I was just joking with her.
Or her roommate might have COVID.
And it turns out, yes, her roommate does have COVID.
Well, there you go.
I said, well, you don't have to get it just to make her happy.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't say that, but no, I did tell her we were going to talk about her today, though. So there you go, Laura.
Cool.
She wanted to talk about something really cool, but I'm not even going to talk about what it was.
Maybe on Thursday.
Psh.
Maybe when she's 5 days quarantining plus 5 days mask. So
she said
10 days.
She doesn't have any symptoms.
Is she vaccinated?
Psh, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you think Laura, she's the kind of person that I could see not being vaccinated?
I don't know.
But at the same time, I could see where she would be vaccinated, because she's
I'm going to go with yes.
Yeah, I would. If I had to put $1 on it, I would put it on that she's vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, who knows, Laura? And we do have this thing called a phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got a lot of new listeners. I know it's not Shout Out Thursday, but I know that
we had a week off, and we got a bunch of new listeners.
Wasn't that terrible? And I was just like, hey, listen to the old ones.
Yeah.
Then I'm scared because I'm like, there's so many that are terrible.
What? No, there's not.
No, I was
just different.
I know. But no, Alex, who you just made a shirt for, right?
Yeah.
He's been listening. So shout out to Alex.
Yeah, he said he enjoyed the podcast. He said that.
That's good.
So.
And then Callie C, she's been listening quite a bit. Andrea C, she's been listening. Samantha T, she always listens. She's the one doing the challenge. We should make a t-shirt for the challenge.
I don't know if anyone can complete the challenge.
I know it'd be pretty much next to impossible. That's why I think it'd be so great.
And the challenge is
that you listen to every podcast that's been. And how would we even check that? You
would look at their face and they would just go, oh.
They would just go, I'm so over it. Oh. Then you're like, okay, I took the 217 challenge.
Yeah, but to go back into the early days in 2019 when we first started, it was different podcasts. I mean, it was the same, but it was different. We had different co-hosts.
It was different. I didn't
even know who you were.
I know.
It was just me,
and then you did know who I was and still didn't acknowledge that you knew me. That was fun.
I was protecting you.
Oh, was that what that was?
Yes.
Is that what you call it?
Yes.
When you really care about somebody, don't ever mention them at all when you're talking about your life on the podcast.
Especially when you're setting boundaries with other people.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Because if I'd have mentioned you, it would have been like, what? Wait, who? What? You can't be dating. You don't have a year yet.
And Mom, that's not. Yes, that was you, but
That's what it was about.
he was saying that with love.
What we just did. Just kidding, Mother. But no, I'm not kidding, though. Yeah, I was trying to set them boundaries, and, I didn't need to.
No, but you can definitely see the growth in you, I think, a lot, in the maturity and you and your recovery and we all get, with more experience, as we get more clean time, you get more secure in talking about it, you and where you're at, and reflecting back on, the olden days. And it's scientifically shown that, the fog clears. And it doesn't happen overnight. Give yourself a chance.
Yeah, and I believe in myself. Part of me wants to go back to those days to just relive them. I didn't realize how special that those days would be. Starting a company, turning it into a nonprofit, just having one microphone, then getting two microphones, and still having to pass one back and forth to the third guy. And then finally having three microphones and getting a new laptop and just going through all that. It was exciting. And at the time it was stressful. I didn't know what was coming next. And I wanted to get the 501c3 application in, and I needed $600 to do it. How was I going to get that and finally do it? And I remember meeting your mom for the first time, and I was kind of not shy to talk about it, but I was afraid to talk about it, because here I am telling somebody I just met my plans, and they might think I'm crazy or that it's never going to happen. And he's just living off some la la land, and it's never been done before. How are they going to do it? And get people to transport people to treatment. How are they going to do it? They've never done it before. Just a bunch of questions, but looking back at it, for some reason I wasn't as scared as I probably should have been. Mm-hmm. And maybe I had so many people doubting me that I just loved the challenge. I don't know. Those were special times, and I guess these are special times too. In 3 or 4 years, we'll look back and go, no, those were the good old days. Remember when we could just sit around in the office and chat about stuff? Now we got to chase a kid around. Or two of them. But yeah, it's crazy what life will bring you in recovery and what recovery brings in your life.
Yeah.
Just stick with it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And for people like the guy I was talking about earlier, who was trying to live with that girl or whatever, he's got to keep on it too. I know he doesn't listen, but the minute he gives up, he's going to be right back in the shit, which he probably is. And they say that sometimes you got to hit your bottom. Sometimes you do, but you don't always have to hit that.
No.
I'm a firm believer in that. It's the stubborn ones. We have to hit it hard.
Yeah. No kidding.
And I guess if someone would have just told me just to accept, that you can never drink again. And when acceptance was talked about to me early on, it was about, accept that you have a problem. Okay, I can do that. But if you can accept that you can't use anymore and be good with it, then you're off.
Yeah.
Off and running.
That's when you're there.
Wake up the next day, have that same thought that you can never use again. Mm-hmm. And just be good with it.
Renew it every day.
Yeah, life's not going to get worse for you by not using drugs or drinking.
I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Just won't. But anyway, I'm so tired now. I've been gone so long. It's hard to do a 50-minute podcast. Oh,
I know.
But thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
Share with your friends. It feels good to be back. It feels really good to be back.
Get the app if you don't have it.
217recovery.com is our website. Resources if you need living. There's some sober living stuff on there. And there's also just living on there. Like if you're looking for like low income or whatever, there's that. If you go to our resources, I think it's called, oh hell, I don't remember, but it's something about back to, it's like when you get out of jail.
Oh.
It has resources from everything that you would need to know. So check it out. Resources, 217recovery.com, which of course you can get to the website from the app, which you can download in the Play Store and the Apple Store for free.
Yeah.
So enjoy. And
All right, everybody.
Talk to you on Thursday. Maybe. I'm just saying, if my pancreas is fine.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.